the story.
I'm so sorry, Katie. I think she's really mad that
Nobody can't like Fancy because of her irrational behavior to her. Right, exactly. Like,
I think she's offended too. I think she's really offended at how close we've become. And I don't think she's accounting for the fact that I don't think her and her minions are accounting for the fact that I have a reason to trust you and feel close to you. I have grounds to be bonding with you. And me and Fancy Maselli don't have anything in common. Fancy was not wronged by them. She wronged the Blanchards. I was wronged by the Blanchards. You were wronged by the Blanchards. We have grounds to bond, whereas Fancy just wanted information from me. And the reason I think she's so threatened is because you're getting that information and she isn't, number one.
The weird thing is that she told me that I said, I joined her Patreon. I freaking paid $30 just to get a look at these medical records, right? And she was like, you can do whatever you want with that information. Feel free to spread it as much as the truth can go. But then once I do spread it, then she gets mad at me and says that I'm not doing it correctly and I'm defaming Dee Dee and I'm making a mockery. And
why don't you spread it yourself?
But then she's insulting me, calling me names and saying that I'm spiraling and I don't know anything and I still don't know anything and she's the only one that knows anything.
She's projecting. She's literally projecting her insecurities onto you. She's upset that you know so much and she feels as though she knows nothing now compared to you. She feels as though you're taking her spot on as the lead creator who knows the truth about Gypsy. She sees you as a threat. And don't ever let that put you down, Katie.
But I'm not trying to be, first of all, I'm not trying to be an expert on the case. I've never.
You're just trying to speak out about the truth and clear the record because they made you tell so many lies. And I feel like so many people are missing that.
Yeah. And I'm not trying to be best friends. Yeah, she calls herself the leading expert and the only expert.
We don't want to be experts, okay?
I don't want to be an expert.
I don't want to be an expert in that bitch. I don't care to. I have better things to do with my life. I'm sure you do too, Katie.
Yeah, and I don't. Fancy knows what happened 5 years ago. She has no clue what's going on right now. And yes, the case is relevant, but that's not my focus. Right now, my focus isn't about Gypsy's case. It's about the property.
It's about her now. It's about her
yes.
not being reformed. It's about her showing us she's not reformed and she wasn't ready for this. We don't give a flying shit about the things that Fancy is worried about in the past. Fancy dwells on the past. We want to talk about current. What she's doing right now. We don't want to talk about what she did when she was just running a con with her mom as a child. We want to talk about what she's doing now as an adult. After she's murdered her mom, she's still running a con losing her mom. That's what we're focused on. And that's the difference. You're not a threat, and she's failing to see that. She's missing that.
I'm not trying to be any expert. All I'm saying is I'm not trying to be any expert. I'm not trying to be fighting with anyone. Frankly,
Clout chasing, I've heard that one a lot.
What?
Clout chasing. People keep saying that.
I didn't, I want to be clear. I did not, without a crystal ball, WACV, a whole channel that is designed to bully me, who claims she's not bullying me, she's just trying to hold me accountable. Was trying to say that I only flipped on Gypsy because she blocked me, and that's not true.
She blocked you because you started asking questions.
Yes,
and because you found the truth, and as you started to realize that, she noticed that you realized that, and she blocked you.
And I told Christy that I could not post only positive content for Gypsy. I said I cannot be a good reporter and just overlook everything. Because what's happening publicly is weird and it's not okay. And her behavior is erratic and she's being irrational and she's being impulsive and she's being vindictive and she's being cruel. I said, I have a right to respond if I don't agree with something.
Exactly.
But they wanted me to only be pretty bows and fairy tales and carpet rides,
And that's not how friendship works. Friendship is holding each other accountable.
Yeah.
And having honest talks, being honest with each other. Friendship is accountability, honesty, loyalty, trust. And these are all things that you could never find in a friendship with them. And I relate to that 100%. I never found Gypsy to be an accountable person. She's never been somebody you can hold accountable for their actions. She's never been somebody who wants to hear the truth. When she asks you for your opinion, she doesn't want your opinion. She wants you to like her to make her feel better.
Yes. And so Gypsy was mad at me because I made a post basically saying everything she admitted on the show about herself. I put that in a post and I said, Gypsy said this about herself. Rod said this about her. These are all the things that are true. This is exactly how I feel. I don't agree with this. I don't agree with that. She is acting impulsive. And that she said I was trashing her. And I'm like, girl, I literally just mirrored back to you what you've been saying. Yeah. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time saying if you want to believe that I'm only doing this because Gypsy blocked me, then you can believe Gypsy's narrative, but that's definitely not why. I actually tried to disconnect from them first and then she lured me back in and then I was trying to disconnect again. And then Gypsy had a hissy fit. And at that point, I was like, you know what? This would be just, now that she actually has blocked me, I can go. Thank you.
Right. And that's kind of how I felt too. I finally felt like I didn't have to people please for my girlfriend anymore. I was like, finally, I'm free and my girlfriend can't be mad at it because it's not my fault.
Because I never wanted to be the one to I don't know. I didn't know.
Part of me felt bad for her. And
yes.
I wanted my girlfriend to have a real friend so bad because those are so hard to come by in prison. And I tried to overlook a lot of things she did and convince myself she was a good friend, but she wasn't. Not to me, not to Millie, not to anybody ever, I don't think.
Dreamweaver says, I knew this was going to happen when you started supporting her. So you've been around for 5 years? Did you know me 5 years ago?
Right. Mom, is that you?
I always think it's weird when people have to tell you I told you so.
Like, thanks. That totally makes me feel less like a fucking idiot for being blinded and manipulated and conned. Thank you guys.
Thank you guys.
Spread it on to the people of Springfield too. I'm sure they'd love to hear it, you guys. Same fucking thing. She's still conning people.
Hey,
You were calling.
language, lady.
Sorry. Didn't mean it.
She didn't mean it. She said the F word. I'm like her mom.
It was an accident. I meant frick.
Yes, I used to cover Teen Mom stuff years and years ago.
You need the team on topics. Where were you when I needed you?
I don't really, does Ken love Gypsy? Like, this is the kind of stuff that's like, just weird. Like,
I don't know. Like, how am I supposed to know that?
Gypsy doesn't love, here's a better
I'm
answer.
not Nina. I'm not Nina. I'm not fancy. I'm not one of those creators. Like, I don't take my opinions as the truth. You know what I mean? I try to not be so
Okay,
opinionated.
Rituals and Reveille wants me to talk about Ryan Lee. I'm not going to talk about other creators because, first of all, I did not get in the middle of Christy's relationships, and she didn't talk to me about other creators. The only creator she ever talked to me about was Fancy. That's it. And I didn't know about any of these other creators. So I didn't know what was happening on TikTok. I didn't know any of it.
Excuse me.
I hope that I didn't mean to be short. Why do people keep saying that Gypsy has court tomorrow? There's like literally no proof of this.
Yeah,
If someone says something, I swear I'm starting to learn that if someone says something on TikTok, it becomes a fact.
yeah, no, literally. Like, I think that's literally what people think. Like, oh, it was on TikTok. It's a fact.
No, Fancy didn't hit a nerve. Well, I'm just saying I didn't like Fancy. I didn't want to talk to Fancy, and she tried to talk to me, and I put up a boundary with her.
That's not her saying that Fancy struck a nerve. That's her saying Fancy didn't respect her boundaries. You put out a simple boundary and Fancy didn't expect it.
And then Fancy wanted to have a public argument, which I wasn't going to do.
You have every right to be appalled by that because that's middle school stuff, you know?
I don't engage in public argument like that.
That's ridiculous. No, that's trashy.
Cassidy says Fancy hit all my nerves.
Oh my god, dude, she really does. Like, why did she? Oh, they said, I mean, she really hit a nerve with Christy.
Oh,
What do you think, Katie? I wouldn't know. I don't know Christy all too well. I think they all seem pretty stricken with her. I mean,
I feel like
her, so.
I don't know. I think with Fancy, she just goes so far off in left field, and then she gets so vindictive and angry. And she does it with everyone. It's not just the Blanchers.
Yeah, no, I've seen her talk about other people too. It's
She
not
has a full-on rage meltdown and yells and screams at people on her lives. And I've watched enough of Fancy's lives and seen how she yells and screams at people. I didn't want to be a part of that.
And she tells you can't be accountable.
Well, I just don't like. I'm 45 years
I've
old.
haven't had a meltdown about being held accountable before online.
First of all, like I'm 45 years old and I don't need to be yelled at by someone who's not my mom.
Literally, you might be old enough to be my mom, but that does not mean I need you to be my mom. Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah. I don't like getting into public fights like that. That's just not my
Somebody
way.
needs to take grandma to the nursing home and off of YouTube. Final opinion on Fancy. That's it, guys. I'm not answering any more questions. Someone needs to take grandma to the nursing home.
Someone just said that Fancy owns the crime photos. See, Fancy thinks she owns the story.
The police own the crime photos. What are you talking about? Fancy doesn't own them. They were given to her whenever she lied to them about being somebody who would be able to make a documentary for them. She conned them into giving her that information. Does she have legal rights to share it? Yes, she did at a time. I don't know if she still does. But that does not mean that it legally belongs to her.
Yeah.
That's not how that works. That's like if that's like if somebody I don't know, that's like if somebody got handcuffed and they're like, these handcuffs are on my body, therefore they belong to me. I own them. Like, no, you're being arrested. Those don't belong to you. It's just none of anything involving the crime belongs to Fancy.